Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Daily Market Report brought to you by Mike Bjork. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. May 10th here. We do actually just got one bit of economic news today, and that is the CPI or Consumer Price Index. So this is split into two, which is why I said one. So the the Consumer Price Index, which is also known as the CPI, this is inflation on the consumer side. This does hold some weight. The previous reporting was pretty high, as you can see back in March. It rose 0.4%. It was supposed to keep on that same trend of 0.4%. However, in April, it did come in a little bit lower than expectation at 0.3%. However, if you strip out the food and energy, which creates the volatility because it's such a variable and it's uncontrolled, and we get more of the controlled substance, we get the core CPI. And this is really what the Fed will look at, and they like to try to keep these in a 2% range. Now, their favorite gauge for consumer inflation is called the PCE, or Personal Consumption Expenditure. But the Consumer Price Index also has some weight as well. Now, the core, as you can see here, in March it rose only 0.1%. Forecast was calling for 0.2%. However, it went up less than expectations at 0.1%. So both of these indexes year over year did go up by 0.1% year over year. So the CPI went from 1.9 to 2%, and the core went from 2% to 2.1% on here. So give you an idea where according to Consumer Price Index, where consumer inflation is currently located. So let's kind of move over to headline news. Stock market is way down, and of course, as what we've been dealing with all week is tariffs and trade talk with China. Now that tariff kicked in at midnight, like 12:01 East Coast time on the 25% tariffs on Chinese goods on the $200 billion of goods that will be coming over. Now, however, there is approximately a 2-week grace period because goods that are in transit are not going to be hit with that 25% tariff. It will be hit with the 10% tariff. So there will be a little bit of grace period. We do have currently the delegation from China in Washington. Yesterday, the talks did not obviously go well. It was only about 90 minutes, so there's obviously no movement on either side. They're hoping today the talks will evolve around how they can get the talks back on table and start discussing and trying to get the differences resolved here, close that gap. Obviously, with both sides having their foot on the brakes, they're trying to see how they can get the gas started here, so to speak, as a car metaphor here. Now, China, of course, is talking about retaliation on there, but President Trump is also talking about another 25% hike on the remaining $325 billion of goods that come over from China. So that's another increase. China doesn't import enough goods. They export more goods than they import. So that would be a bigger detriment to them in these regards here. So they're looking at other retaliation to these tariff talk if we can't obviously get into some type of agreement, trade negotiation. So hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this is investors are feeling cautiously optimistic about things. Hopefully it will eventually come around, that both sides come to their senses and get to the table and hopefully work something out that both sides can mutually benefit. But until then, right now, the unsettling news is, of course, disrupting the markets. And right now, the stock market is actually on pace for one of its worst weeks this year. So let's kind of move ahead here, see how this is playing out in the bond market. Bond market really isn't having a whole lot of movement with this. We're only up about 2 basis points right now. So there's no change in pricing as of right now. We did close up yesterday, but not quite enough for anything to be changed for lenders to come out with better pricing. Treasuries did come up slightly. They're up at 2.44 versus 2.43 yesterday. So the yields did come up slightly here as well. All right, so mortgage rates unchanged as most this week. It's been kind of in that position, unchanged. We'll hopefully have a better week next week. And then hopefully some better news will come out with regards to the negotiations with China. All right, you guys have a great rest of your great rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.